When I was a kid and first played Zelda Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64, my entire world shifted. This was more than just something as simple as having fun. This was an experience. Being able to completely lose myself in this entirely different world. Seeing and interacting with different fantasy races, medieval tropes, like saving the princess or wielding a sword and a shield. Having a bow at your back and seeing a sunrise at the peak of the horizon. It was the music in the background that you could yourself even create. Whether or not I knew it, Zelda at that point had set me up on a path to fall in love with the MMORPG, the massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you've had a similar gaming experience to the one I've had. Maybe it wasn't Zelda for you, maybe it was the first Final Fantasy, or Chrono Trigger, or even the Pokemon games on your Game Boy. An RPG doesn't have to have swords or arrows. It doesn't even have to have monsters to kill. All it needs is a way to let you escape yourself and enter an entirely new world. We would lose ourselves in these worlds and still go to bed thinking about the quests that we haven't finished. Every single quest and dungeon was a brand new adventure. These games that were so precious to us were so valuable because of the memories we created along the way. Games back then, and I'm sure you'll agree, were more about the actual experience, whether it was battling Mewtwo or finally slaying Diablo with your awesome warrior, whether it was the first Halo and landing on a brand new world full of color and mystique. Maybe it was sneaking around in Metal Gear Solid or investigating tombs as the sexy Tomb Raider. It was the RPG experience at the core of these games that made us fall in love with MMOs later. The MMO took what we love about RPGs and made it even better. Now, not only were we adventuring around and saving the princess using massive powerful spells and awesome weapons, but we could do that with other players. You got to choose what kind of character you wanted to play. Were you going to be the healer, the one that everyone thanks later for keeping them alive? Or were you going to be the DPS with massive damage and badass weapons? Or would you be the tank, the heart of the team, directing your comrades and taking the biggest hits, toe to toe with the giant boss? The role that you played meant something. And of course, just as important was the character creation process. If you want to play good, you gotta look good. The MMO took everything great about the RPG and added a human experience. Coming across someone that's doing the same quest as you, being able to make friends and being social, creating your own guild with that really stupid name that you made that you were probably so proud of back then, organizing and playing dungeons and forming parties, conquering bosses together, or just roaming and exploring the vast land. All of these experiences are a natural extension of what an RPG is. After all, a role or your character is only as real as the world that surrounds you. A role thrives on immersion. Without it, it's just make-believe. And engaging with all these other players is immersion at its finest. It's what breathes life into a role. And this is what captures the hearts of so many MMO players. But as we grew older and games changed over time, something happened to the RPG part of the MMO. Sure, games got flashier and better graphics, but they also became emptier. There was something lacking from them after a time, and we weren't sure what. I'm not saying they weren't fun at all, and a lot of these games were. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, where exactly this happened for me. It's a gradual and murky process. I would log in and I would do my daily quests and then log out. But because I had put so much time towards that game, I felt that I had to keep playing. I didn't want to lose that role in the world I had created because that role had become a part of who I was. I wanted to feel something again, but all I got was routine. I remember one of the biggest examples, while I originally had a ton of fun with WoW and still value those memories, it was another typical day. I was playing WoW and it had been several hours of gameplay, and then all of a sudden I looked around me at the room and I looked at the computer screen. I was not having any fun. I realized that this had become a job. I denied it at first. I didn't want to lose that character, that core part of me. But sure enough, it got harder and harder to log in, and that word, job, kept coming back to me and haunting me. I wasn't having any fun anymore at all with this game. There was so much content to do and places to go and PvP ratings to get. So many other things to complete, but it was all just work. I would laugh about it with my friends and say, yeah, this game is a job for me. And I would say that even pridefully. I was proud of it, that it was a job and I wasn't even having fun anymore. This game had become my life, and not in a good way. Of course, I was in denial about this, and I just chalked this up to years of playing the same game, that of course it would just start to become less and less fun. After all this toil and hard work for possibly years, it's no wonder that this gradual declination of fun is so hard to see, because you've had real stories on this character. You're invested. You've put blood, sweat, and tears into this avatar of yourself. Since you become this role, there's no the end in MMOs. Why would you want that to end and lose a part of yourself? And that's why ultimately it can be hard to recognize when you stop having fun. You're going to keep logging in every day, even if it's just to do your dailies and then log off. In order for an MMO to create that perfect lifelong experience, there must be a reason to still log on hundreds and even thousands of hours later. I've experienced this slow denial into this job experience with several MMOs. With Elder Scrolls Online, I loved the incredibly vast world. But over time, things started to get monotonous. With what's called fake healing or fake tanking in the game, my spec ultimately led me feeling worthless. And when they brought in the recent horrible subclass system that muddled all classes, that was the last straw for me, because that role that I spoke of that we attach ourselves to fell away. With Black Desert Online, the chase of becoming the highest level was a blast, and for a short time, I was actually the highest level Shai on the North American servers. There were other things to do, like chase the extremely difficult rare treasures, but then the devs made it easier to get these rare items after promising earlier that they would never do so. When you work so hard for some items and then the developers go back into the game and make them way easier to get, you feel as if you've almost been cheated out of your experience. Guild Wars 2 is an amazing game, and the completionist aspect of the maps and open world random group encounters are awesome. But after getting the best in slot gear and spamming the same endgame dungeons every day, I began to lose interest in another MMO yet again. With Blade and Soul, it became the too complicated gear grind and the carrot on the end of a stick type reward system. And although I'm a huge Diablo fan, Diablo 4's seasonal system essentially makes it that there's no real reason to have a main. If you don't want to fall behind, you pretty much have to make a new character every season. And in World of Warcraft, the PvP system was just entirely way too toxic. And the raids as well, there was just so much competition. Everything was about parse rates and your rating. And most importantly, there's always a new flavor of the month on what class you have to pick if you really want to get into the meta. All of these games eventually led to me losing my immersion, that role that I was so attached to. Not long ago, I had a very big health scare. I was waiting on a biopsy that had me wondering about some pretty heavy stuff. Time really slowed down. So while I was having this scary week and evaluating all these deep psychological things, somewhere in that murkiness of this existential crisis I was having, I decided to play Final Fantasy XIV. I wasn't even sure if I was going to enjoy it, but it had been on my radar for a long time, so I wanted to experience it. I know that sounds strange, but hear me out. It was a combination of realizing the MMO I was playing was a job, and also realizing that my life had a set determinate amount of time, which we all do, by the way, and finally wanting to escape the incredible stress and constant anxiety I was having. These three things combined are what drove me to trying FF14. While it does have its faults, just like any other game, there was something about this game that immediately captured me. This MMO was different, and it reminded me of what MMORPGs are supposed to be. It's the little things that I first noticed, like someone getting really excited about getting the fat cat minion to chase them around all the time. I would walk through a town and see a bunch of characters hanging out, dancing, and spamming emotes. How when I tried a new class and joined a raid, the entire time the people in the raid gave me tips on how to play that class. It's the novice chat system and how the game rewards those that helps others. Even in dungeons, you can get what are called commendations, which are rewarded for usually being the most helpful single player. All of this spawns a sort of, dare I say, helpful and friendly gaming environment. The game rewards being a kind player. Sometimes I'll stop the quest I'm doing and just admire the world around me, or listen to the background music of the zone that I'm in deeply, immersing myself in this beautiful world. Here you'll see floating pathways that lead up to a giant castle in the sky. You'll run through tall plains made of purple flowers. You'll fight the weapon of a boss so large you can't even see it with all of your screen. You'll encounter book monsters or giant multi-headed statues. Final Fantasy really is the master of, well, fantasy. Whether it's futuristic type stuff or classic medieval, whether it's space stuff or just beautiful scenery, you'll explore vastly different worlds and go into dreams themselves, testing your mettle at a grand attempt to exact vengeance or create justice. Even the weapons you hold yourself can glow with an eerie light. The game isn't bogged down with routines and redundant systems. It's designed to streamline you into getting straight into the gameplay with convenience factors like being able to pick up loot automatically from mobs, or getting decent gold from quests, or being able to play all classes on one character and not needing to make a bunch of alts, and even being able to switch your character's race and looks easily. The game is simply built to be fun. You don't need to install 50 different add-ons to optimize everything or start playing the game. It was also very quick when I realized I had friends in this game and people asked me how I was doing or simply said hello. And it's not just that people are helpful, it's that people actively seek out trying to help you. Whether it's getting a cool mount or finishing a dungeon, people here genuinely want to help. It's the incredibly fun PvP with both ranked and unranked systems, where it's just a blast to go in guns blazing and working with your team to defeat the enemy. Even the crafting and gathering jobs are designed so well that even fishing is a blast. It's the infinitely vast glam system. You can make your character completely unique. All of a sudden, I was waking up early to play this game, just like when I was a kid. The NPCs genuinely care about something, and that was enough to bring me into that world. And it wasn't just the NPCs, the players themselves. It's not just about numbers or gear, it's about the connection that the story has with the players and the players with the NPCs. Even the tiniest quests have big emotions. Not only was it a blast to play, but more importantly, I could see that people played. I'm still very much a new player, I will admit, but I can comfortably say that I've had more fun playing FF14 than I've had in years playing all other video games combined. I'm excited to grab some caffeine and set it next to my computer and just play games all day. The colorful graphics or the adorable lalafels, whether it's the passionate players and the incredible kindness from the community, the combat system, which is incredibly intricate yet also very easy to pick up, having colorful hairstyles and battling giant trees, interacting with bizarre NPCs, or seeing their crazy quest drama. I found myself getting more and more completely invested in this game. Something about the beautiful environments and the starry skies when you peer up at night, seeing the sunrise in the land that you're at, filling your world with bright sunshine. Maybe it was the epic heroes that you genuinely care for, or the fact that you yourself become that hero. It might be the simple and direct playstyle where you just start playing and you just go. It might be the incredible art and detail that these environments and characters have. Maybe it's the fact that there is amazing character customization and you actually like looking at your character. It could be the near infinite achievements that you've yet to get. Or maybe it's the spells. They just all look so badass. It could be the bright colorful icons or the cat girls. Yeah, it's definitely the cat girls. Or having macros available to customize. There's so much personalization that you can do, and the cutscenes are to die for, and you could make movies off just those. During the middle of this extremely stressful week, while venturing out on a quest, I met a lalafell who rode in on the most ridiculously oversized tank mount imaginable. I stopped to just look at this preposterous situation of this cute little lalafell character, whom are known to be the cutesy small race, on this giant fierce camouflage tank, when he hopped off and we began to exchange a flurry of emotes. I want to say for at least a solid 2 or 3 minutes, we were united in pure pointless silliness. No words were exchanged during this time. No plans were made, no friend requests, just two strangers sharing a completely nonsensical moment in Eorzea. Somehow, in that ridiculous little exchange, my stress melted away for a bit. I wasn't thinking about heavy worries or stressful situations. I was having an experience, hilarious experience. Sometimes it's the little random MMO moments that stick with you the most. Those 2 or 3 minutes meant everything to me. I could escape all the scary things in life and simply be. After a few minutes, he gave me a slash wave and hopped back on his enormous tank, and he went his way and I went mine. Everything turned out okay with my health results, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. When I say Final Fantasy XIV saved my life, I don't mean medically. I mean the game showed and reminded me we should embrace life, drink deep of its joys, and treasure every moment we have. To not settle for less in everything that we do, and to remember why we play games in the first place. To enjoy it. Socrates once said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." This quote emphasizes the self-reflection, introspection, and values that are important for living life not on autopilot. I shouldn't settle for good enough, in-game or in real life. There's a quote I once heard that says, "If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a hell no." Victory means nothing if you can't stop for a moment and look around and smile where you are. And this game excels at that. Every challenge in Eorzea, every trial, every boss, every time I learned a new jobs rotation, it all made me want to push harder and not give up. This game has lit a fire under my ass to not mess around with the time I have left, whether it's decades or a few years. I may have started that stressful week playing an entirely different MMO, but I left that week playing Final Fantasy XIV. Other than adorable Lalafell hugs, I also found myself addicted to getting new quests. I was in bed last night researching on my phone the proper rotations for Bard, and I'm watching every single FF14 video in existence. Keep suggesting them, YouTube, because I will keep watching. I want to know everything about this game. I want to get every single achievement, and I want to play every single raid, and I want to play every single day. I want to master every single job, and I want to see every single place there is in the game. Not only was this game able to help immerse me into this world during a time that I really needed it, but it's held on to me afterwards and pulls me in every day. This game has reminded me why I fell in love with the genre in the first place. It's ignited that spark that I feel so many MMOs have lost over the years. Playing Final Fantasy has taught me how incredibly important it is to have true, authentic joy, why passion matters, and even escapism, especially in uncertain times. It's shown me that a lot of gamers, not just myself, have gone through burnout, anxiety, or even illness, and that the games that we choose to play are more than just the pixels on a screen. It's how you communicate and connect with not just others, but yourself. I do realize now that it is extremely important to make room for what gives you true joy, and Final Fantasy XIV has given that back to me. It's reminded me what it feels like to live again, even if it's in a fantasy world. It made me feel alive, like I was doing something that mattered to me. I'm waking up early and staying up late, grinding and exploring, just being in this world. It's not just about goals or awards or achievements. It's about losing myself in something bigger. This feeling, this is everything. FF14 has given me back something I didn't even realize I had lost. It reminded me that fun is sacred and that joy is worth protecting. If you've ever felt burnt out or like the magic is gone, if you feel like your current game is a chore or a job, or you just need a reason to escape, maybe this world can bring it back for you too. Final Fantasy XIV gave me back my spark for MMOs and life, and it showed me something bigger, that life's too short to go through the motions. We need to be chasing what excites us. Take the hard fight and celebrate every victory, no matter how small, all while not forgetting to stop and enjoy the journey along the way. For me, that journey's in Eorzea. For you, maybe it's somewhere else. Either way, take life by the horns and make it yours. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more FF14 content and leave a comment down below on what your favorite memory is in this game. Tell me what keeps you coming back, and I'll see you in Eorzea.